Thank you all for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. And first, I'd like to thank the three who came before me first. President Jack Reel, he and his members are willing to put their life on the line on a day-to-day basis for all of us, for our family, and for our neighbors. And for that, they deserve our undying gratitude. Kathy Cleveland Bowl has been a mentor of mine since I was 18 years old, so it is really a proud moment for me to stand here today with a woman who's my 10th sister and reflect on all that we did together and all I've learned from her. And so, Kathy, thank you so much for being here today. Leader Hurd, it is a tough time to be a Democrat in the Ohio House of Representatives. Certainly, you and I both believe evidence-based policies make the most sense, and we're struggling right now to get a legislature to go along with those ideas. And so I very much appreciate your willingness to lead the fight over in the General Assembly on our behalf. So thank you very much. I'm here today because I've grown increasingly concerned that the average working taxpayer in Ohio is being forgotten. State government, unfortunately, seems to fail to recognize what needs to happen in order for access to the American dream to be available, and that access is being diminished, unfortunately. For me, access to the American dream for working families is very personal, as that is the sort of family I was born into on the west side of Cleveland. For my parents, Marcy and Bill Carney, I was the 11th of their 12 children. My parents grew up in Youngstown and had my first 10 siblings there. My dad worked for Republic Steel, and while he and my mom were not wealthy, they had enough to pay the mortgage, put food on the table, there were good public schools in the neighborhood, and they had health care benefits to take care of us kids when we were sick. In fact, I can remember my dad saying when we were done with dinner, "Not too bad for poor people." And I'm pretty sure he was only half joking about that. There's a lot of talk about jobs these days, and for good reason. A lot of working people are either struggling to find a job, or the job they have does not pay enough to cover their bills. I know the importance of having a job as well as anyone. I got my first job carrying newspapers when I was in the 2nd grade. My parents told me they weren't going to be able to pay for me to go to college, so I better get a job if I wanted to make it there someday. And so I needed to start saving money if I was going to realize my own American dream. As I grew up, I had almost every minimum wage job you can think of. Besides carrying newspapers, I babysat, I cut lawns, I washed dishes, I worked at fast food restaurants, I bussed tables, I parked cars, and I did pretty much anything where I could make a little bit of money through some minimum wage opportunity. As a result of those years of work, I saved over $10,000, and between that and the scholarship money I got, I was able to pay my way through the Ohio State University. After 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of law school, I graduated with my law degrees from Ohio State and went on to work at Porter Wright here in Columbus as a healthcare attorney. I've now been practicing law for a dozen years, during which time I've been doing all the business work for doctors' practices, working with hospitals, and really anything that has to do with the business side of healthcare. I've established expertise in the rules with respect to how taxpayers can have their money used to pay for healthcare services. To this day, I'm grateful for the investments that were made in the community I grew up in public schools and community programs. These investments made it possible for a kid like me, who was the 11th of 12 children in a middle-class family, to obtain a fantastic education, get a great job, marry the girl of my dreams, and live my American dream.